That's it. Pretty much. Yeah. Doing the talking on the track.
Come on. Let's be positive.
Let's be positive.
Just stop right there.
I will.
No negativity. Let's be positive. LBP. Let's be positive.
LBP from TMG. That's Twizel's Mad Gunn, courtesy of Resurrection Distillery. That's what he does. He brews the bottle. Resurrection, as in the Lord Jesus on Ascension Thursday, arising up there to sit on the right-hand side of He, the Holy Father. Shane Van Gisbergen to start with, Matt. Welcome back. We'll get on to your doggies in a second, mate. But what do you think of that effort from him at the press conference, given the fact that you've sat on the side of the microphone and you've been involved in this kind of stuff before?
Yeah, it doesn't come off. Doesn't come off very well, does it? It reminds me of that Wayne Bennett press conference 20-something years ago, Martin.
Yes.
He also refused to answer anything at all. And I don't exactly remember what he was saying, but he had one line just like Van Gisbergen did. And I wonder if the Giz had that in memory as well at the time. I mean, look, he clearly disappointed.
Yeah, Darius Boyd did one as well. Remember Darius Boyd did one, just like a right dickhead. And then afterwards, of course, he claimed mental illness because that's the easiest thing to do these days. Oh, I'm stressed, I'm upset, I'll start waving my gun at a nightclub. But look, Matt, these guys are pretty bloody good, aren't they? They normally front like, and they front and they're really engaging. That's what's so peculiar about Van Gisbergen, because the people that he should be raging at are not you and me who are just punters wanting to hear about the race.
No, it's a bit bigger than that, Martin. Like, these guys are not only drivers. You said they're sales reps, and in many ways they are. They sell themselves. They bring their own sponsors. People back them because what they can produce, not only on track, but off track as well. And he didn't do that. Well, he did on track. He certainly did on track.
Brilliant on track.
And he's really... Look, he said afterwards, I've read that he said afterwards that... when he spoke about the car and the heating issues and his feet on fire and all that, it was taken the wrong way, and he didn't want to go down that track again. But it just seems petulant. It's like your teenager. That's how it came off, and he's much more mature than that. He's normally excellent with the press. And it's not like he wasn't delivered a good car, regardless of the issues he's had. Drove very well. He could have just been... I think he could have been honest. I think this is one of the great things about the V8s is, and we've seen the arguments on track and off track and in press conferences over many years between the drivers. They don't tend to sanction them. It's not like having a go at a referee.
No.
Maybe something happened that put him off and he just decided to throw his toys. But that's all it seemed like to me. And actually, I did want to hear a bit more about it.
Yeah, I wanted to hear about, when he said that the car was a wobbler, I wanted to get him to explain that, because, oh my God, if it's a wobbler and you're driving like that, imagine what you're going to be driving when you start liking the car. Because his performance coming back, Matt, in those last 10 laps was as good as sport was on the weekend.
Well, I would have thought that would be enough to have got him over his dummy spit. Look, despite everything that's happened this weekend, look what we did again today. Wouldn't that have been just as good of line as we did it all out on track? I mean, it wasn't right. I tell you what, I actually quite like the young bloke questioning him. They're saying, come on.
Yeah, good on him. Yeah, I thought that. There is no reporter in this country, and I can tell you that for a fact, that would have had the balls to stand up and say that. They all would have giggled and they would have sat down. They would have, Shane. At least in Aussie, you got somebody that's actually prepared to go, hey, listen, pal, this is actually part of the job. I'm here doing mine, at least cut us some slack. Let's move on to the NRL, mate, because... our doggies. I picked your doggies against the Storm. I hate the Storm so much. But, Matt, even you were surprised by that.
I was surprised by how good we were. But I'll tell you this. We did a lot of the things we did in Game 1, which is rumble up the middle, make plenty of easy meters. But the difference this weekend against the weekend one is... we didn't kick it into touch too often. We weren't knocking the ball on. When we had an opportunity, we took it. We looked like we had an attack for the first time in about 3 years. And giving it to Melbourne in that manner, we didn't allow them into the game. There was a 10-minute period where I started to think to myself, I started to question those Dogs, as good as they'd been all game. Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
And I thought, I can't keep watching. I have to keep watching. And then we just solidified things. We went back to what we started doing, and we got the victory. I tell you what, I was surprised.
It's your birthday weekend. For God's sake, your doggies came through for me.
It hadn't been that good. There were two highlights for the birthday weekend.
Be careful here, pal. Be very careful.
Sporting-wise,
yes,
Fiji and Drew are over the Crusaders.
Shane Van. See, that's what Van Gisbergen needed one of his mates to do. Just press pause. Just press pause. Just think.
I thought the Crusaders had come back towards the end of that game and took it too. And then that kick with no time left, you just knew there's no pressure here. We don't have to get on with it. You're not going to get whistled for wasting time. Just put it over.
Yep.
And the whole world will be on your side. What about the crowd?
The whole world, mate. The whole world. Even if you've flown in from Mars and you hate rugby and have never seen a game of rugby, you know that you hate the Crusaders, right?
Well,
you're born
given.
with that. Yeah, that's it.
It's a given.
Unless you've got three heads and you have sex with your brother's goat, you hate the Crusaders. If you're not from Christchurch, you hate the Crusaders. As simple as that.
We don't. They don't need more fans. They didn't need more support. I tell you what. Look, the people that I watch them with obviously are entrenched in Canterbury. They live in Christchurch. They love the Crusaders.
Yes, they do.
Oh, and it was just even sweeter. Sitting in the room with Lee watching that thing on the TV. I couldn't believe how good it was. I tell you what, though.
Yep.
You know, how tough is it playing over there? It's, 35 degrees. I don't know what the humidity was. They looked like they'd played 80 minutes before the kickoff. And I reckon that played a big role. It must have just been... look, I was in Auckland there last year when there was that sort of cyclone hit down off the Waikato coast and the humidity was 90-something%. That's what it looked like. I was lucky to make it through the weekend up there. Crusaders struggled with that. As fit as you can be, they're tough conditions. But it was just a great result. And as they say, cliche it up. Great for rugby.
Yeah,
great for
the competition. Big Bob has just texted. He said, Van Gisbergen did the wrong thing in the presser. If it was me, I wouldn't have turned up in that mood. Maybe should have been honest and told the press to stick it up their bottoms. No, that's not the point, Bob. It's not about telling the press. If you're telling the press to do that, you're telling the fans to stick it up their bums, okay? And that is just a disaster if you're a supercar driver. He needs to turn around and tell that to the management that the officials who he's actually irate at. He's not irate at the fans and he's not irate at the media. He's irate at the actual other side of it. And that's where, look, let's leave it there. Matt, I wasn't that impressed by the Warriors, mate. I know that Coach Webster said it was gritty, it was gutsy, and he's proud of the team. But being proud of the team, I mean, that to me is like, you know, an island rugby attitude that they used to have. Oh, we're going to come here, give you a bit of a good game, 10 minutes to go, we're going to fluff it, we're going to fanny it, we're going to lose, we'll get on the piss afterwards and everyone had a great time. That's not good enough for me. I mean, do that if you're not coaching a professional sports team. But this Warriors side were okay, and okay isn't good enough.
The Roosters went up early. The TAB had them at $7. I jumped on the Warriors. Honestly, I thought they were in this. They should win today. I felt like they could have, and I felt like they should have. But like the Dogs in week one, if you play gutsy and you give it your everything and you play for only half the game and you make too many errors and you don't take advantage of the opposition errors, you end up in the NRL with a loss.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how gutsy you were. It's not about losing. You know, you have to win these games. They're not going to be a top-8 side if they play like they did on the weekend.
Totally agree.
Be realistic about that. You don't get there on guts, Martin. You actually have to make the right decisions in the middle of the game. Do they need a better kicking game?
Yes.
You've discussed this today. 100% they do. And in a game like rugby league, the way it is played now, and how easily some of these big forward packs can bring the ball back and make meters, you've got to make it count when you get rid of the ball. You've got to kick deep and you've got to chase properly. There's no good moving them back on the 20 or give them almost the halfway. They're 2 plays into a new set of sticks and they're in your half. It's got to be tougher than that. They might have been tough in the coach's eyes. They certainly weren't tough enough to win, and that won't get them anywhere this season. I'll just repeat it. Go back and look at the Dogs, Martin. That's your game plan. Don't make too many mistakes. Great kicking game. Mixed it up a little bit. Warriors need that. I don't know where it's coming from. And if you're relying on your second-grade team, well, you know, that's 2022 all over again. You know, you need first-grade players.
Geez, I tell you what, one bloody win, mate. Listen to you think you've won something. You've won one game, mate. You burgled a game against a half-weakened Storm side, mate. Hey?
Forget the half weekend. It doesn't matter how weak or strong they were. Craig Bellamy even conceded we wouldn't have been good enough with a full-strength side today. We outplayed every team in the competition, shaking in their boots after the Bulldogs after the weekend. You know, I've got to take every single win. I got beaten at mini-golf by my wife again on my 50th birthday weekend. She couldn't even concede a victory to me and my 14-year-old. She still had to line up like she's in the club championships and take every putt like she's an expert.
I've been with her before when she's accused you of being too competitive.
Oh,
You're always too competitive, Matt. You're too competitive. It's just a game of golf, mate. I've heard her say those words.
As I've turned 50 now, Martin, I am just chilling right out. You know? I've got the chill of a 60-year-old now at 50.
You're like Shane Van Gisbergen with the dry ice coming on board, mate. That's how cold you are.
Yeah. He needs to have a look at the Matt Gunn review of himself. Just take it easy. Don't worry. Just don't sweat the biggest, mate. When you get that victory, you've got to live it every minute until next week when we get beaten again, probably.
Let's be positive about your Highlanders quickly. That they did the Warriors. Oh, we were groggy, and then we you got dicked again, mate. Come on, you know.
Sad. It's just sad. I hate hearing that. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than we tried hard.
Yeah.
The Crusaders gave me some joy, but there's no joy in a team playing better than they did previously and not giving up as many points. We'll be lucky to win at all.
Yeah, I think so. I still think you make the top four because the rest are rubbish. Liverpool 7-0 to Bournemouth.
About the top four.
I mean, come on.
Well, I think one of the things here that you may not have considered, Martin, is when Liverpool plays the lower teams, the less quality teams, we can put in 7 goals. But when we play the upper echelon...
that's a nasty piece of...
We look to pass the ball sideways. We're a little bit lax. We're a little bit slow. The top sides intimidate us. It's when we play the teams that we know we need to force it. No, I don't. Look, what can I say, Martin? What can I say? They need Scott Robinson as their coach. We need a new attitude.
Yep, that's it.
We're not that bad, but we're pretty bad. Inconsistently bad. We're not that bad. We're inconsistently bad. You don't know what you're going to get. It's the Warriors. It's the Crusaders.
It's the Crusaders. That's what it is. Let's be positive. LBP. TMG, that's Twizel's Matt Gunn being positive, ladies and gentlemen, on his 50th birthday, and we thank you, Matt.